But one stock that's bucking the trend is Sterlite Technology. A major overhang has been lifted for Sterlite as promoters have released their entire pledge. Remember, the promoters had pledged more than 96% of their stake as of March this year, and now they have released that. Anupam Jindal, the Group CFO of Sterlite Tech, joins us now to talk about that. Mr. Jindal, thanks so much for joining us. There are still some concerns. I'll talk about the promoter pledge release in a bit, but there are still some concerns with respect to recent developments on the business end, especially because of optic fibers. So spot optic fiber prices apparently have dropped quite a bit because of an oversupply in China. Your own thoughts on how this could impact you?
Sure. So let me just give you a brief of what we see. The business overall for us continues to be great as we continue to invest in new solutions and technologies to cater to our customers' requirement, particularly for the new age solutions which are required for the next wave of implementation, either for 5G or the data center kind of need for the overall global customer base. And we have been consistently delivering a great historical performance, CAGR of more than 30% in revenue growth. So that way the current pricing scenario which we see, again coming to the long-term the growth drivers, if we see the data continues to have exponential growth, again 5G will be another major enabler in that, and this will be a 5 to 7 year growth driver at least to start with. And fiber, again in that 5G will be a major player, and again new age fiber, the enhanced fiber, we continue to play a major role in that. And for us, the current development or the last few developments, few months of development are not really serious in terms of the performance of the company, because those kind of things would have happened in the past also. And I would say that the company at Sterlite is not really affected in a significant manner. We see rather bottoming of that situation, because in China itself the 5G spectrum has been allocated to large operators there, and we are going to see implementation of that starting soon. Not just in China but globally also, large operators are actually preparing for 5G capex in a major way, and we believe that we will have a major traction coming in from our new solutions which we are offering to them.
Come to
so
that.
This scenario is going.
Mr. Jindal,
the scenario is not going to have major impact on us as far as Sterlite is concerned.
I got that. First, let me just tie up, one reason why we called you and one reason why your stock is up. Promoter play entirely taken off. Released. 96.6% of their stake had been pledged. Can you tell us why they pledged and how come they could take it off? Was it to pay for the capex in the company?
Sure. So the promoters had, we had communicated earlier that promoters had pledged the the shareholding in the company around in September 18, basically to delist the Vedanta Resources PLC from London Stock Exchange. And Sterlite Technology shares were pledged as part of the overall security arrangement they had to give to the lenders.
Okay.
And given the sensitivity from the shareholders around the pledging of shares, particularly by promoters, they started working on renegotiating with the lenders to take this pledging of Sterlite Tech being a listed company out, given the impact it had created on the shareholders' value. And recently in last May, they communicated that they will be able to get, they have negotiated this and they will be able to get this pledge out by July.
Okay.
And I'm very pleased that they've been able to do it earlier than that, and it is completely out from here.
Okay, now to come to the question that Sonia was asking you. She asked you about prices falling and you said that it's not hurting you much. There is a separate piece of data which the CRU, the Commodity Research Unit, has put forth, saying that imports from China to India have gone up substantially, optic fiber imports. Is that true, and does that hurt you?
So again, as I said that India, we are seeing some sort of volume coming in from China. As we continue to say, Chinese players were earlier dominantly serving Chinese market, and in between China Mobile, one of the largest customer globally, deferred their buying, and that created some sort of
Yeah.
excess sort of inventory, and that is finding its way. They are trying to get in other markets, but Sterlite being fully integrated, large scale player, not just scale but also technology player. We are creating our own niche, and we are creating that traction. So we continue to see huge traction from large global customers, particularly in Europe and other markets. And we are also having good traction from Latin America. India continues to be a large market, and we are not getting impacted.
No, but
by
what
these
about
increased
India? You know, in India, the Delhi High Court also issued an interim order restraining ZTT, the Chinese company, from marketing its optical fibers manufactured by using technology which was patented by you. Now, under the circumstances, can you give us some forecast, considering that the ZTT has been taken off the table? What are your volume and revenue expectations in India? What are your volume and revenue expectations globally in FY20?
Sure. So in terms of the overall, let me first address the India issue. India, we continue to be a major player, almost like 40-45% of the global India market share we continue to command, and we believe that that will be continuing because India market itself is increasing. And again, largely it was being catered by some of the Indian players, including Sterlite. We see some players from China coming in, and this trend may continue for some time, but again, as they find more opportunities developing in China, maybe they will focus there. We continue to have global focus, not just India. India is definitely our home market, and we'll have larger share, let's say 40-45% continuing from here, and that will continue to protect. So the order we are talking about, the High Court order for GTT, is again to showcase that the technical competence we have and the effort we want to have to protect our India market positioning. And globally also we see good traction all the way in major countries of Europe, major customers of Europe. We are trying to get good entry in North America.
So you're
now.
not giving me numbers. Mr. Jindal, I was hoping you will give me your revenue and both domestic and
so
global.
let me not give you the individual number, because that is very difficult to give. We have said that like 37, more than 70% of our volume, which is at 30 million, more than 70% of the volume goes out of country. So that way, it's not really India is 30% of our total production which we do. But that will, since we are going to increase our capacity, which is going to come online soon, 50 million capacity will be coming online soon, which will have major utilization coming in from H2 of the current year itself. And a large part again we'll see, we want to see a global, portfolio. We don't want to just depend on India. We are a global company, so India will continue to be a major part, but this is how we'll see.
Okay, I just have a couple of questions if there is time. The debt of the company currently stands at around 1700 crores. Now that you have released your pledges, will you be lowering the debt, and over the next 12 months, what would the debt look like?
So I think the pledge and the debt of the company didn't have any correlation, because the pledge was done by the promoters for their personal requirement, nothing to do with the operations of the company. As far as the debt in the company at 1700 crore, as you rightly said, as at March end, is fairly comfortable level, well below 1 debt equity and less than 2 times of debt to EBITDA. And given the phase we are in, we are continuing to invest in growth of the company through capex and other measures. I would say we are fairly comfortable with the operating cash flow coming in. We are generating more than 600-700 crore of operating cash flow, and given the capex we are fairly confident that if not FY20, we'll be able to generate free cash flow in FY21 for sure. We had generated free cash flow in FY18, 19 and 20, since we had a major capex outgo. We might have a slight, increase in debt, but again, very well within that equity level of 1. As we
For 5 quarters, Mr. Jindal, your margins have been falling. Fourth quarter last year was a very high 28%, then you came to 28.7, then you come to 25.7, then 22.8, now 18.3. I mean, that's quite a fall, yeah.
Yeah, so I think we also need to see that the absolute EBITDA has grown up significantly, and that is driven by the both product business, which we have high margin, and the new service business, which is comparatively low margin. It used to be 10-11%. Now we are seeing that moving up to 12-13-14%. So if you look at the mix of the services business, it used to be less than 25% in FY18. If you are mentioning Q4 of FY18, it was less than 25%, and in Q4 of FY19, it almost became 50%.
Okay.
And therefore, the mix of the EBITDA came down at 18%. But if you look at the individual business segment, they continue to be quite healthy, and the net number is going to be a mix of these two businesses.
Okay, just one final question. What exactly is the spot optic fiber price right now? I mean, there was some talks that in Europe it had gone below $6 as well. You said that the prices will bottom out, but what are they at right now?
Yeah, so I think the $6 in Europe, again, for a particular kind of fiber and the kind of fiber we are supplying, we are saying that for us at Sterlite, we are still looking at full year average price close to $7. And that is a function of the value-added products which we have developed and the long-term contract we have with the large customers globally. So for us, we are still playing in that zone.
Okay, we will leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining us. So that's Sterlite Tech, one of the biggest movers today, up almost about 7% at a time when the mid-cap index is down about 0.3%.
Yeah, forget mid-caps. Indiabulls housing is down 7.5%.
Exactly.
now.
I'm unable